Hi everyone, welcome on back. My name is Jean and this is Creatively Jean. So we are going to work on another back to school item for the kids. We are going to make these little cute little dangles. You know, kids like to put things on their backpacks too and everything. So I make more of a simple one for the kids. I do make some um, that are a little bit, got a lot more beads on for like the older teens and stuff. But these are geared more for, like your elementary school kids. I mean, of course, anybody. I mean, I'll put it on mine. So what we're using for these though is we're going to be using, this one's an eraser. I'm going to show you, I have a whole box here of goodies that I use, little toys, all that stuff. So we'll be going through all that. And these are so easy to make. You've seen me make these in adult version. Well, I guess none of them are adult. They could be adults or kids, but you see me make this style before. This is a very easy style to make. So let's first start out with, and I have more samples for the end too, because I don't know how many we'll get to make. And first sample is my little treasure chest that I picked up at Walmart. I found a use for it. So this is where I'm going to keep all my stuff for the kids. So things you can use, like these are from Dollar Tree, these little plastic trucks. These were from Dollar Tree also. They're like little, the Lego minifigures kind of. Got some of them. I kept them in the wrappers just so I can show you guys. Doorables. The doorables will work really well. This Barbie, I'm going to show you how we take this off the bottom because we don't want the stand. So a little Barbie. These I picked up at Hobby Lobby for 99 cents for this whole pack of safari animals. So I can get a lot out of there. Mickey, we have a sample made of Mickey. Paw Patrol, these little blind. This is kind of like an eraser material. And we've got these keychains, these are easy to convert because they already have the hole on it. We're probably not using one of these tonight, but I got them in my stash because I'll be doing these. All I have to do is take the keychain off so I can run a thing of beads first and then put her on the bottom. So she's already perfect to go. I can use this. I just got to disconnect first, run my string, and, run it through. So I have those. And then here's one of the trucks. I put the ring in the top already. The dinosaur, and these I put some rings in the top already just to have some ready. These are all erasers that I've gotten. Here's one of the safari animals. These are all erasers that I've gotten from different places. Five Below, Dollar Tree, maybe, I don't know if I got some from Hobby Lobby or not, but Five Below and Dollar Tree mostly. So they're just, all they are is those cute little character erasers. Oh, here's a Squishmallow. This one, we are going to make one of these. I have one ready, but the rest of these are all erasers. There was dinosaur erasers. These are so easy to convert, and they're, perfect for the kids. They're just adorable. So let's throw some of this back in. This will be actually I told you guys that we are probably going to be getting, most likely, where I'm waiting for Jennifer to get some things made with her X-Tool machine. We are going to just rent a stand over at our local antique store. They rent stands starting at $25. And that way we can use that for a while just to kind of see what will sell and what won't sell. Because, a lot of, times in different areas, certain things are going to sell certain things. So we're going to use that kind of as our like test marketplace. And then when we go to have like craft show, unless it does really well at the antique store and I don't need to do a craft show, then we'll know kind of what things to kind of make. So that's what we decided to kind of do. Okay, we got that. So what I'm using is lobster. So I've got two different sizes. I like to use the plastic ones. Let me bring you in a little bit because we have to come down anyways. So so these are the two different sizes that we have. Why do I only have my giant ruler here? Guess we'll use my giant ruler. Don't need my giant ruler, but about 1.25 inches. And this one's about 1 inch, I believe. Yep, that one's about 1 inch. So I got the two different sizes. The bigger one, the bigger one was a better deal, actually. You got 200 of the big ones for $11.99. you got 100 of the little ones for $11.99. So the bigger ones are a little better deal. It's up to you. You know, there was just different colors in both, and I just thought I would get both sizes and go from there. Then you need your little eye hooks, and I got these. I will link what I can, and I believe most of this all came from Amazon. A lot of these little, I know all the string did, the lobster claws did. I'm pretty sure these little eyelets did. They're not easy to open. Let's get one out. These are 2 different sizes also, and I don't know what the price are on these, but I will be linking them anyways. So, okay, show you 2 different sizes in them. I always keep a variety on hand. It doesn't really matter what size you use. Smaller size, bigger size, but I have those. And, you know, I like to use, if you see my other videos, I like to use this wax threading. It is wax cording, thread, whatever you want to call it. I got a big multi-box of it a while ago, and so I'll link it. It is very strong. And normally, I don't have to add no glue, but I'm going to add glue. Because wax cording I use in my junk journals too, and it holds up really well. It's usually, if you tie it really good, it'll stay. So we got all that. I just need a little needle nose and tweezers maybe, and my bead threader, which I get off of Amazon too. It's like a 10-pack of them. I love these ones, so I'll get those. All right, so let's kind of get started. First, I'm going to show you. I didn't keep Barbie out, did I? Let's go get Barbie. I got one ready, but I'm going to show you how to take off that bottom. So I already got the bottom off of this one, and I have to do something to her foot yet, so I have to show you that. So let's, she's very easy to do. All right, so what I do is I just take my heat gun and I go from the bottom. You can see that's not her feet there. Her feet are actually boots. So as you can see here, her feet are these boots. This is just like plastic material that you use to hold her in there. So that's not going to affect nothing. But I need to soften it up so I can pull it out. And my sandpaper, here it is. I need my sandpaper too. Okay. All right. So it's going to be loud for a minute. I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of heat the bottom there. And soften it up so you can kind of see how to get those off. So just kind of hold it on there. Then I just kind of test it and see if it's getting soft. These were a little bit, took a little longer for me to get off. They were a little harder, but they came off. Okay, softening up now. Not enough to pop her shoe out yet. You have to play with all these things because some things are a little harder to get out. There we go. She wants to come out. Oops, I'm not on camera. And then, there we go. There we go. So now she's got a little bit of that plastic. I just cut that off. You'll see where the bottom of the boot is. So I just cut off if it's a big chunk. So I'll cut that off. And then all I do is to smooth her. Get rid of that. I've had this for a year, so I don't know where it came from, but I had it for years. And I just kind of run her across until she smooths down. Okay, so I have this one ready. We don't want to sit there and watch. So then you're going to have the white spot. So this one I already colored, and this one the white spot. So I have it nice and smooth down. Take a acrylic marker. So these are just my Nicety brand. I can link this whole kit. It's a pretty awesome little kit. And then just color that white in so it's black to match the rest of her boot. So then it looks like that. So she's all ready to go. Now, since we have everything plugged in, we're going to do our drilling too right away so that I don't have to keep, you know, drilling things and not drilling things. Most of these things, which I'll show you on this one, you do not need to drill a hole in the erasers. You can hand put those in. But things like this car, we will, and this minifigure, we will. So I will show you. Oh, okay. So my little clamp, I could think of the name of it. And we are just going to sink him in there. And then we are just going to, I will link these. And then my little, I just got tired. My little one broke, but so this is like a kind of a step up or so, but it still works because we don't need to put a full hole in. We just need to kind of make a little starter hole. So I'm just going to go in the top of the head and make a little hole. You're going to have to hold on tight because it likes to bounce around. I'm going to need my glasses on. Sorry. Get my little safety glasses on. Come on. And just kind of hold it. Go slow. Okay, that's all I need is to put a little, just put a little starter hole. And then let's put the truck in. And these are just little plastic trucks, you know. I mean, I'm going to be selling these. This is the first time I'm actually going to be selling them. I've never sold them before. I give everything away. I just gave them away, but since we're going to do, you know, start selling some of our stuff. So this is the first time I'm going to sell these for around $2. It does not really cost that much to make them. Like most of my, like this stuff came from Dollar Tree. This has like 5 in a pack. So that's what, like a less than a quarter or something like that. And then the beads cost me nothing because I buy them by bulk. And the string, well, you don't need a ton of string. So all this adds up to not a whole lot. So I want kids to be able to afford it. And, you know, people say I sell my stuff too cheap. But that's just how I am. And your market is what your market is. Maybe you can get more in your market. I don't like selling things for, I mean, I know how much it costs me to make these things. So, okay, I'm going to go in on this one. That one I went too far down, but that's okay because I want to show you that if you do go too far down, it doesn't really matter if your hole is all the way. It just, you might need a little glue in there. All right, so let's start with, okay, these are, let's put our little hook in there. So just take your little eyelet, and I take my needle nose, and I just hold on to it there, get a good grip, and then I just screw it on into the hole. And sometimes the fun is to get it going. These things are so tiny to deal with. And I'm trying to stay in the camera and away from me with it. Come on. So this one is going in nice and tight, so I probably won't have to do no glue. But if you want to put some glue in, go for it. The erasers I do. But some of these plastic pieces go in really good. I may do it for the craft fair, but okay. Oh, I probably shouldn't have glued. I'll have to glue along there. Same with the erasers. I'll have to pull out an eraser and show you. Same with the eraser. Now, where's my pilot hole? Let's use one of the smaller ones. Do I have a small one left in here? Okay, grab this, and I'm gonna bring those back up. Sorry. It's hard to do things like this in camera because I tend to bring things close to me. Like I said, some of them go in easier than others because of the material. Gotta get some of that plastic off of there that's coming up. Okay, I'll leave that for that. Eraser. Easy to do. But I will use some glue. And I like using the Loctite super glue because it's a nice thick gel and it's got a little fine tip on there, but you can use your E6000, stuff like that. These are easy to put in, so I just kind of like start it there and screw it on in. Okay, and then I'm going to take it back out. And get that ready. And I should have brought my tray, but well, if we drip on my thing, oh well. Let's move this and drip on here. It'd be better than on my mat. I'm just going to put a little bit on the end here. Usually works really good. Just get a little bit on there. And then put it back in. Screw it down. We'll let that one sit to dry while we're working on other ones. All right, so let's get started actually making them because you're like, let's go, Gina. I want to make some. All right, so let's move that aside. And I don't need my glasses on for this part. Let's go ahead and do the Barbie that we already have an eyelet in. First, I wanted to show you the erasers while I was thinking about it. Some of these erasers I noticed. Let's see if I can find one quick. Grab some. These erasers are in pieces. Did not know that. His little chest comes off, okay? So you're going to have to glue that. So glue that down before you give them to kids. This one comes off. Glue it down, okay? So and the heads pop off really easy. I'm just gluing them down as I put them. This one just lost its top, or it's in there somewhere. I think it's a cake. So look at those. Maybe it's the flower. Nope, it's actually, I think it's a cake that goes in there first. I don't remember which, but I'll find it. No, maybe it's that. So look at all of them. Some of them aren't pieces, but most of these, if the heads turn, they pop right off. So glue those down. You don't want to give them to the kids. They'll lose them in no time at all. So I've been gluing them down as I pick the ones that I want to use. All right, so let me get my little bead tray here. Okay, so I have some things that I picked out. I thought Barbie would look really good with these yellow ones, and I think this blue I thought would match her dress pretty darn good. And then she needs lots of bling, right? So we're gonna give her these two spacer beads. That should work for her. And let's see, I guess we'll have to use, we can use yellow thread on her. So just take a chunk. I don't measure. I'll kind of measure this. I'd rather have more than not enough. And so I'll kind of quick give it a measure and see about what we have. 22 inches. That's probably more than I need. So now, just like my other ones, you're going to put the two ends together. And then, let's see, we want to, yellow? Yellow. It's a dark yellow. They're both a dark yellow. But I think I want the small yellow with her. So let's go with the small one. Dump some of these out. Let's go with a yellow. So first we're going to string that on there. And then bring the two ends through the loop. And tighten it down. Okay. So we have it on. So then we are going to string the beads the way you want them on. So I'm going to start with the yellow one. Some of these holes I'm going to be able to get two through, but that's why I got the bead threader, because they won't go through some of them. So we're going to string that one on. And then I'm going to put my spacer. And this one, I'm going to need my bead threader. And, okay, you did that wrong, Jean. Okay, put the bead on first, then put the string on and run it through. I'm working backwards apparently tonight. Okay, let's see, this one should have big enough holes. And I have a huge stash of beads, you guys. You know that I do because, you know, you see my shopping hauls, but I also like to have a stash because many times in the past I get very frustrated when I don't have what I need. So I will buy things, sales, whatever, and just keep in my stash, and eventually it gets used, trust me. All right, so I got the 3 on. I got the yellow bead, a spacer, and a blue bead. Now I'm just going to take one thread, okay? And then run it through the spacer bead would be next. And then run our yellow bead. I use, like I said, I usually do about 3 beads. That's you know, plenty. And now we are going to take that. We are going to take that through her. And then now we are going to string that back through the yellow one. So string it back on through. I love these. And if you sit there, what I do, and then string it through the spacer to meet the other string. So then your 2 strings are together. They have come together. Okay, so what I usually do is pick out what I want to use, my erasers, my toys, whatever. Then I take them in my plate or my container, whatever. I go over to my beads and I sit there and start mixing beads and see what beads I want to go with it. Then I'll take the beads over to where all my spacer beads are, and then I'll put spacer beads together. That's how I do it. It works for me. Okay, so now what you want to do is tighten it up. Now you don't want it too tight so that it's looks really stiff, but so kind of tighten it up. Get her up there. Okay, then we're going to tie just a regular knot. Let's see how and I like to stand it up, make sure they kind of still dangles. There's kind of a little gap there I don't like yet. Okay. So she looks like that so far. Then I usually flip it and go to the back side. Now I forget what this knot's called. I don't know why I can't remember. But basically you just overlap, you go through the loop, and then you go through again. I forget, you guys will tell me, you always do. And so that's all you do. And then you're going to run that. It's I forget now. And then tighten that really good. And that's usually all I need. But because I'm giving these to the kids, I'm going to add a little glue onto that knot. And that's why I like this, because I can get down in there. There's the jewelry one, the E, is that an E5000, the jewelry one? That has a really fine tip on it. But you need to use that, so do a whole bunch at once, because you know those things clog up and you never get them to use it again. So I just run my glue dot on there, and I should have cut these off first. So just cut your strings off as close as you can get them. And we're going to be tucking them in anyways. Okay. And then I just take a pokey tool and kind of tuck those in. Not that pokey tool. That wasn't the pokey tool. Pokey tool. Okay, pokey tool. Look, I took yellow. So then I just kind of take those little ends and shove them back up into the bead or into the spacer, whichever where you can get it, just so the ends don't show as well. And it might take a little bit to do this. And tuck them in. And then we have that one for the kids, okay? Now, get my glue back up here. They're so cute, and they just take no time at all to make. I'm going to try to make one. So now let's do our little eraser here. Our eraser guy, he should be, yeah, he feels like he's good and dry. And I thought these ones looked like kind of like water bubbles. Oh, you should see me. Well, no, you don't want to see me when I'm picking out beads. You really don't. Okay, I thought those look like water bubbles. And then this one, you know what, like the clear, so it looks like a kind of like water also. But I thought this was blingy enough. So this one I will not be putting spacers, because I thought it had enough going on this one. You don't have to put spacers. So we're going to leave this one like that. I wish they would make maybe like a clear wax thread. There was no light blue in this one, so we'll have to use white. I would have liked to have like a light blue or something, but all the colors that they give you, All right, so we can take a pretty blue lobster clasp there. I'm just getting my strings even, so that makes it easier to go through. And then string it on through there. Bring the ends through the loop. The loopy. Okay, and we'll string on our first bead. And my thing got... my strings got a little off, so I will use my threader. Okay. And this one, I'll put two beads on, and then I'll be stringing through and taking just the one bead. I wanted to show one where you do not need to use spacer beads also. All right, so now we just take one thread again and string that through. We have that, and then we are going to go ahead and grab our little ducky. We're going to bring that through, and then we're going to go back and hold this bead through that one. And looks like it's not going to go through, so let's grab our bead threader. And string that and bring it through. All right, so it looks like that. So where's my thread? Okay, tight. And I like to make sure it kind of, I still want it to cut movement. I don't want it so stiff it doesn't move. And then we're going to knot it. Okay. Looks good. And then we'll do our, okay, it's just like we're tying a shoe, but we're going to make an extra loop through. And I know you guys are so helpful. You'll tell me what that knot is again. I was going to look at my old video where I did that knot so I can get the name again, then I totally forgot. Okay. Now again, I will put a little dot on that knot, and then you can leave it dry first if you want before you poke it in, which is normally what I do, but you know, I can be impatient, and then tuck it down in there. Like I said, I don't normally do this, glue them for the adults too much, because this wax thread is pretty good. And there you have that one. So we did an eraser, and this one, I had glued her little beak in there. It is glued in there. It's just still like loose. But yeah, glue her little beak in there. Okay, so we have that. Move that out of the side. What should we do next? Should we do the squishmallow? Well, let's do a truck, I guess. Let's do the truck. Let me feel that. Okay. And then for that one, I picked out these orange beads. These orange ones with, this is the closest red I could get, like, you know, so I wanted to kind of match both colors. And then I got these fun little spacers. Not sure what they're called, but I got these. And whatever I can link, I will link. But so, like I said, a lot of this is from my stash, you know, and I can't link the Dollar Tree erasers. Just when, like right now, you know, there might still be some from school. I know there still was some last week in the was there, but they always bring in those cute erasers. So just look Five Below, all those places. Look for these, but any little toys too. Okay, string. Oh, let's do this kind of orange one. Chunky. And we'll do a big orange one. This is, there's a little one, but we'll use the big orange on this one. We can use the big one. And put that through. right. Now let's see if these beads will work. It's kind of hard to find a hole on this one. Okay, it's kind of like a mosaic kind of thing. Okay, we got the bead. We got this spacer, which has plenty big hole. And then we have our middle bead. So really, you're only using like 3 beads and, you know, so it doesn't take much to make these. All right, we have that. So now we're going to separate and just take one. Put our spacer through. And do that one. And we'll go through the truck. And don't bring it up too tight. You want to make sure he has enough room there. Okay, bring that through. Perfect. And we'll bring that through. So that meets its little buddy up here. And his little buddy got tangled on me. Okay, so let's grab these two so they don't go back through. Pull, there we go. All right, so I like to hold him up just to make sure he looks like he's dangling freely. And then we'll go ahead and put our little knots in. First I get this one, because that one, I don't do the other one till I have everything adjusted. And that one you can kind of still adjust your beads. And you don't really have to go flip it over, but I just like, then there's a knot on both sides. And then we pull really tight. Like I said, you can't even break that string. I've never been able to break that string back with my hands. Okay, we're going to skip the gluing and stuff right now because we're at 30 some minutes and I want to show you the other samples. But just like that, you have a truck. And then you could do the same thing. Like, so the Squishmallow, I would do, I'll just kind of show you what they'll look like. These kind of raspberry beads. And then I have some more of this one. And this big purple crystal one. And another purple one. And then I would put that. So that would look like that one. I just thought this kind of looked like a grape. This is a grape squishmallow. Mellow. So that's cute. Let's see. We did that already. Take him. Put him down there. And let's see. The gray, I guess. And let's see. Which blue do I want? I think this blue. And then I have these gray silicone kind of beads that I'm going to use for the spacers. Put the blue there. And that would look like that. So there is so many different ways you can put these together with the beads. And let's see, I'll show you some of the samples I made. Okay, so I got this lion eraser and I had to glue his whole face on. But I found these beads in my stash. I thought were kind of cute. They kind of match him pretty well. Kind of woodsy like a tree. So with that one, let's move some of this out of our way. So we can see all these. Too much stuff. I just realized that maybe I should have, this is a pretty long table, but it's, you know, only so wide. I should have put my studio on the side of the table. Then I have more space on each side of me. Okay, so we got this polar bear one, and I got these crackle beads I thought were really cute with him. Or her. And then this is another eraser, kangaroo, the pink. It's kind of wavy spacer beads. Adorable. And this Mickey came from Dollar Tree. They have those mini Mickeys, Daisy, Donald, all them. So just did a whole, and I had these beads. I know you can still get these from Bumblebead, and they're in from Tennessee, I think. I'll link their shop. I get a lot of their beads from them. So last time I got them, they still had some, and they have them also in red with white polka dots. And then I had these kind of pearl spacer beads for that one. But so I have that. So those I thought would be really, really cute for the kids, for their backpacks and stuff. And like I said, you guys let me know. I'm thinking $2 because I want, you know, kids to be able to use their own money if they wanted to. And I know, for me, I know how much they cost. I know how much these beads were and everything. So they didn't cost me $2 to make, that's for sure. So $2, $3 is I think what I'm going to charge for them. Like I said, in the past, I didn't sell too much in the past. Most things I gave away. And I did have, you know, people that actually bought them and stuff too, but I gave them to them pretty much at cost. You know, I'm, you know, their family, friends, stuff like that. I made wedding cards one year for a friend. Didn't charge her anything, you know, her invitations and stuff, but didn't charge her anything for it because it's just fun to make them. So, all right, guys, I hope you like this. And, you know, it's the same as my other ones. You put a charm on the bottom instead, you know, so they're so easy to make, but these are more geared for the kids and showing you how you can take these little toys that you find everywhere and you can use them as the focal point. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.